see that Christianity ain't for a black man. In 1619, they brought us here on slave ships, baptized us and turned us into Christians.
Shalom, shalom out there. All right, saints. It's a nice day outside on this Sabbath. All right, we got the new moon coming in. Well, you know, got another short lesson. This one's going to be kind of interesting. Okay, where are the men in the church? All right, where are the men? I think we know when if you've been in a Christian church, you see mostly women, especially in the so-called African American churches. There's probably 30% men and 70% women. I mean, I'm not making this up. Okay, those are the facts. All right. So we want to try to figure out why. Well, it's not that we want to figure out why. I mean, I know why. But the point is, where are the men? Okay, where are the men? So I got this little video here that some pastors came together, about 6 or 7 of them, I believe it was. And one of the brothers on YouTube recorded it, and he did his own lesson out of it. So these pastors are coming together, and they're kind of trying to figure out what can they do to bring brothers to Christ, and how they're losing members or the men to the Hebrew Israelites or in Islam and other quote-unquote religions of faith. And these guys, man, they're basically clueless. You know, one of them talks like he's some kind of scientist or big time college professor. You know, see all this stuff, it's just not even like being real. Okay, so we're gonna watch the video, all right, and you're gonna see what the pastors be saying, and you know, and this is actually happening. This group, they're all coming together trying to figure out where are the men going? Why are the Hebrew Israelites attracting all the men? You know why? Because they can't stop the Most High. This is of the Most High God. This is the Great Awakening. This is the remnant is going to be saved. Remember, the 144,000 are just the men. So, what part of it they don't get? They because they're being taught a religion of Christianity, and they don't have the understanding of this book. Now they'll say they do, but if they had the understanding, then they'll know through the scriptures of some of my lessons I taught. You'll see that they prophesied of this happening, that we're going to remember ourselves. Everybody you talk to knows we're in the last days. Do they not? You see the viruses and the plagues and all this stuff is happening. Earthquakes in the first places. I mean, the food prices are going up. All this stuff is in the scriptures. And it also says that a remnant shall be saved, and we're going to remember ourselves in the place we were so captive. So apparently these pastors don't know this. So they're talking about bringing us to Christ. I don't want to go there. Okay, I don't want to go there. It's So let's watch this video, and you're going to see these pastors talk about, you know, we losing members. Now this video was a short one. It was longer than this, so I'm going to give you the short one, okay?
And a simple question, and that is, why do young men appear to be drawn to other religious movements like the Hebrew Israelites, and so on and so forth? What can be done, in your estimation or in your opinions, that can draw young men, African American men in particularly, to Christ? Elder Man, can you answer that question, and then anyone else that want to chime in, you can come right on in, and we'll just go right along, you know, on and on. Elder Man, would you give some understanding to perhaps what your understanding, what you're seeing as relating to why are so many young men, African American men particularly, being drawn to other religions like
Sure.
Hebrew Israelites, like the Nation of Islam, so on and so forth. Talk about it.
Sure. God bless you. Thank you all so much, Bishop Hankerson, Bishop Bell. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and to all these other great men of God that we share this time with. That is an amazing question, and I believe as we look to move forward in the church, I think that's the very thing that is hindering us, because the church itself comes off as a stagnant entity. And so I believe that the church must get back to being a movement. I just don't believe that nowadays that people want to join a church in the typical fashion that is, in the older way, but they want to get involved with the movement. It's not just the Hebrew Israelite movement. It's all these movements, the Me Too movement, the LGBT movement. All of these things are gathering people. It's because it is a movement, and the church itself comes off as a stagnant entity. And so we have to be a part of something and present a movement that is impacting families, impacting lives, impacting things that are affecting our community, affecting our generation, and then introducing the love of Christ through the movement. If you look at Jesus, Jesus was a movement. He wasn't a standalone entity when he was moving forward. And I'll say one more thing, and I'll open it up. I believe this is important, that the church itself, I believe we have to be active and be public about our ability to foster and train and develop and show future leadership and give opportunity for that as we move forward. People want to be a part of what they feel like they can make a tangible impact in. And so I believe, again, if we can get back to the church, becoming a movement. I know, I'm not an advocate of preaching, we got to get outside of the four walls of the church. That's a given.
All right. So everybody saw the video, right? They are actually coming together and trying to figure this out. So let's get some scriptures. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and 8. 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and 8. I hope everybody got the Bibles. If you don't, you got it on your phone or something. Follow along with me so you see that I'm coming straight out the scriptures, okay? 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and 8. It says, "For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth." You see that? For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. See, that's why we say that we in the truth. The truth of this Bible here. Okay? So it says they can't do nothing against it. There's nothing they can do, them pastors can do, to stop this Great Awakening. Nothing. Nothing. Now let's go get what the truth is. Let's go to Psalms 119. Psalms 119. Everybody with me. Psalms 119 and 142. Psalms 119, 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness. Righteousness is keeping the laws, statutes, commandments. That's how you get righteous. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. What do you say? What's the truth? The laws are the truth. So when the scriptures talk about they can't do nothing against the truth, because they're not keeping no laws. They can't stop this. This is of the Most High God. I mean, it's really kind of like a joke. All this is in the scriptures, but they don't know, don't get. They got to try to come together and figure it out. And it's wrote right here in the book. The righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and the laws are truth. So they can't do nothing against the truth. We're teaching the truth. What else can I say? Okay, let's go to Malachi. Last book of the Old Testament or Old Covenant. Let's see. Malachi chapter 2 and verse 7. Malachi 2 and 7. Let's start at verse 6. Malachi 2 and verse 6. The law of truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and equity, and did turn away many from iniquity. Verse 7. For the priest's lips, now let's talk about priests. It could be pastors, anybody teaching this word. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge. You hear me? You reading this. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth. For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts. See, the knowledge is the laws. These pastors ain't keeping no laws. They ain't teaching no laws. And let's read on down and show you something. But ye departed out of the way, ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Them same pastors. Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi. Now, it's basically just talking about Levi. Saith the Lord of hosts, therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all the people, according to as ye have not kept my ways, but have been partial in the law. So basically just talking about who? Talking about Levi, the priest. Right? And it says they've been partial in the law. That's why Christ didn't come through the line of Levi. He came through the line of Judah. The priests were corrupt. They went off. The priests went off. Just like all of Israel went off. All right. But the priests, if you see here, it says, stumbled, ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi. You see that? They had corrupted the covenant of Levi. Because Levi's meaning is joined unto me. I think that's it. Right. Because the Most High God is their inheritance. They didn't get any land inheritance. The Most High God is their inheritance. So anyway, those pastors, they're not teaching no laws. They ain't keeping no laws. And that's what that knowledge is. All right. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 30. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 20. Now, one of them guys said they're not trying to go outside the walls of the church. Did you hear him say that? They ain't leaving that building. They ain't. See, we put our life on the line going out there teaching our people. We going to the people. Same thing Jesus did. The same thing. He didn't. Yeah, he taught in the temples. We understand that. In the synagogues. We understand that. But he also had a street ministry. These people in the church, look, we go to the what's that? Mayfest and all these other festivals around here, trying to hand out flyers, whatever, to our people, trying to wake our people up. Ain't no Christian churches out there. Ain't no Christian church. We done went 2 or 3 years. No Christian churches out there handing out no flyers and nothing like that. They have a gospel show first, and they up there praising, quote unquote, praising the Lord with the gospel show. Then after the gospel show go off, they got the R&B bands come up. The same people pray, and they playing and dancing with the R&B bands. The same people. So they're supposed to be praising God, then they right in wickedness. Love me down, take my clothes off. I know I can't sing, but that's what they be doing. The same people. After you sit there and watched it, it's a show. So Isaiah chapter 30, verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore. Get this. Yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore. That's like the church. We ain't gonna be able to no church no more. It says, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. That's what we out there doing. Everybody can see us on the corners and in the streets and in the cities. It says, thine eyes shall see thy teachers. And they seeing us. whether they hear or forbear. All right, so who are these people that's on the corners? I'm going to put some pictures up for those that don't know or might not understand of some brothers out there street teaching. So watch these few pictures, okay? All right, so you see the pictures of the brothers on the corner. You know, they make fun of the way they dressed, even though Christ was dressed similar. All right, Christ had fringes on the shirt. You know, I got fringes on my shirt. Okay. All this stuff is in Scripture, but is your tie and your your white collar, your Roman Catholic collar and all that, is that in Scripture? No, it's not in Scripture. All those clown suits they wear for the bishops and all that stuff with that pagan hat that they wear, a hat of Dagon, is that in Scripture? Yes, well, the guy Dagon is in Scripture, but that hat, look, I don't want to go left. The point of the matter is, the things that we do is in Scripture. You tell me, can you find a collar or them clown suits they wear with the crosses, the idol worshiper and all this in Scripture? That's legal to have in Scripture. Okay. So, you know, did he stay inside four walls? No, he didn't. Did he collect the check? No, he didn't. Now I'm talking about no pastors taking tithes and collecting checks and pastor's anniversary getting checked. Christ ain't do none of that. Bro, they talking about following Christ, leading people to Christ. But they don't even do what Christ said. All right? Why can't they heal the sick outside the church? They do all this healing, they say, all inside the building. Why can't they do it? Why can't they go to the hospitals and heal these kids if that's the case? Something ain't right. Something's not right. You got to ask yourself, something ain't right. And one of the pastors said, you know, bring men to Christ. What Christ? They talking about the white Jesus picture of Christ is all up in the church? That's the Christ they talking about? That's why the men ain't in the church. Men can weed out the foolishness. Men can see the people that's not in genuine. All right? They see the BS. All right? We're teaching the truth. We can go to Scripture and show the truth. They'll take 1 or 2, 3 scriptures and do a whole sermon off of it. And all this crazy foolishness, and they're not really being taught. I used to go to church and I didn't remember what the message was. For real. You remember the songs though, the praise worship, you remember that. If them churches didn't have praise and worship, you wouldn't have as many women in there. The whole church is content on, I know some churches content on the choir, the band, the music. I'm being real. The churches are acting just like a business. They have logos, all this. Did Christ have all? Wait a minute now. Did Christ have all that? Yeah, I know some Israelite groups have logos and all that. I get that. But they have to have a means of putting the word out. Right? Just like a YouTube page, all this is always putting the word out. Same thing the Christian church does. But the point of the matter is, what entity is it? What's the end game? What's the end goal of it? Okay, so to me, and what I've understood, Christianity, the religion Christianity that was made by the Roman Catholic Church, that was forced upon our people when we came over here on slave ships, and the whole world they went to and forced this so-called religion on people. It's not the way. It's not our way. It's not for us. It's not. All right, and that's why the men ain't in the churches. That's why God's waking his people up and they're coming out of the churches out of that foolishness. All right, with all them gay people, all LGBT, all in the church. You got LGBT, all this foolishness. All right, so we're going to get this one scripture. Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7, and we'll be done. I hope some people get this. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. And this is red letter. enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, the gate is wide, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. You get that? So wide, the wide way that leadeth to destruction, and many there which go in thereat. So many is gonna go wide. Now I equate this to how many Christians ain't Christian the number one religion? If not Islam is, but I think Christianity is. That's the wide gate, Jack. Verse 14, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. So if only few gonna find this straight gate and narrow the way, there can't be Christianity or Islam and none of these so-called big religions. And see, what we believe is we're not even in a religion. We straight Bible. Religion is man-made. God didn't give nobody religion. I don't even know if the word religion is actually in the Bible. I need to check that out. But because straight is the gate and narrow is the way, and which leadeth into life, and few there be that find it. Few. That tells you right there, Christianity, all the people saying they saved and going to, something ain't right. Because if few is, that's Christianity has how many followers? And they all just said the sinner's prayer and all that said they saved and covered with the blood and all this. So something don't add up to what the scriptures say. And this read that is what Christ said. See, Christians, they cannot believe what Christ said because they're teaching a doctrine that goes against the scriptures. It just does. You can't have droves of people coming up and all of them saying a prayer, then they go back out of church and sin all they want. Don't keep no laws and nothing like that. Do nothing God say do. But they say, but they gonna make it? But that ain't what this says. Oh my God. Okay. I'm just gonna leave it alone because I don't understand it. I swear I don't understand it. I know the scriptures say they blinded and all this. Okay. Yeah, they're gonna believe a lie and all that. I get all that. But golly. I mean, you got these people out there, family members too, they ain't hearing it. They're going to celebrate them some Christmas and all these holidays that ain't got nothing to do with the Bible. And you the bad guy when you try to tell them that it's a pagan holiday. Check that out. Ooh. Anyway, that's why the men ain't in the church. They're tired. They can see right through the BS. And they can't stop the truth according to the scriptures. I just read it. All right. So share this video to your friends and you'll see that they can say what they want to say about us quote unquote Hebrew Israelites, and we're not black Hebrew Israelites. We're Hebrew Israelites. All right. Not black because you could be look quote unquote white. It's not skin color. It's blood. The bloodline. And the scriptures say the spirit bears itself witness. So it ain't up to us. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. But I appreciate you guys again. Share the videos, press the like button. Until next time, shalom.
Yeah, I never back, no retreat. Nah, always surviving the heat. Yeah, you shoot me down in the street. Hold up, I came with many, we deep. Yeah, 144 deep. Man, I done came with a fleet. Got all my brothers with me. Yeah, I know you smelling defeat. I know you smelling defeat. You gon' be kissing my feet. Yeah, all of my brothers gon' eat. All of my brothers elite. Yeah, I be facing the east. Wisdom and knowledge increase. Yeah, you got a minute and seconds. God is releasing the beast. Yeah, your time is up on a lease. I just pull up for the rent. Give me that. Don't be expecting no grace. Nah, you get